we go. We're live on Faith-Led Healing. We are going live on, there we go, on Faith-Led Living. I'm having difficulties with screens. All right, and I am trying to get my Zoom community on here. So good morning. I hope you guys are all doing good. And I would like to encourage you guys to get in the, there we go. Get in my community, get in the comments and leave me some comments. Let me know where you're from. Let me know how I can be praying for you. All right, we got people in
recording in progress.
Yes, the recording is in progress. Okay. So, let me get them in here. Let me get this. All right, bear with me. Things went a little bit ahead of schedule here on YouTube, and that's okay. I'm trying to get things perfected here in my tiny little office. You guys should see my office. My office is in a little corner of our 12 by 16 tiny home, and to be able to do everything organized properly. Okay, that's just gonna have to be good enough for today. And here we go on this one. Okay, so I got 3 cameras going, so if I'm not looking at the camera, that's why. Okay. Best laid plans. Rolling with the punches. We've been talking about that, right? Let's see here. Questioning. So, do you ever consider your beliefs on all kinds of things? The kind of cheese you eat? It just kind of popped in my head, but it's the truth. The words you use, all of those things. Do you consider, where they come from? Your opinion of people, okay, I'm going to go political, your political party. Do you consider where all of these things come from? Your desire to live a certain way, how you are raising your children, vice versa, all those things. Do you consider these things? Okay, I need to get my Zoom community in here. Whoa, it just disappeared. Here we go. All right. All right. That's what we're talking about today, is our beliefs. Good morning, my Zoom friends. I'm sorry, YouTube went live before my Zoom. Not intentionally, it's just the internet gremlins, but you guys all look beautiful. Miss Vicky, Miss Deb. This is the beautiful thing about my community. So I've got you guys on YouTube. We got Faith-Led Living, Faith-Led Healing, and we've got my Faith-Led Living, Faith-Led Healing Zoom community. This is my special access. These guys get to go face-to-face with me every week. YouTube, you guys will be with me for 30 minutes, especially today, because I'm going to take our beliefs really deep today, and there's certain aspects of our beliefs that YouTube would instantly tell me that they need to shut me down, or they would keep it from being viewed, or they will remove it. So that is the beautiful part of going live with me in my community, because we can talk about things that the rest of the world deems unnecessary or doesn't want to talk about. And we can do it privately. We can do it safely. There's a lot of keyboard cowboys out there that will instantly jump on you when you desire to talk about things that we need answers for. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we talk about every week here, are those kinds of things. And I give you a little teaser and a taste on YouTube, and not to tease you, but YouTube shuts us down. The mainstream media shuts us down. The keyboard cowboys shut us down. And I want to have a safe haven where people can come, gather, and share those things. Miss Shelley, Miss Mill, I am so glad we got a full house this morning, and we got Miss Laura. There's Miss Laura. I was going to say, I knew I saw her. So we got a full house here sitting in Zoom with me, and I'm super excited about that. So if you would like to join my community, there's a free side to things. You can also join the special access. I promise you, in the free side of things, you will get fed and nurtured very well. Don't feel like you're going to be slighted. I just realized because of my own circumstances that people end up in that place where they just can't afford to do those things, but they still want to be a part of things. They still need that loving community, those right people surrounding them. And we just had over 200 new people join us last week. I'm praising. I am really praising. That came from the presentation I did on, excuse me, Women of the Word Bible Journaling Conference. And if you weren't aware of that and you want to go check it out, you can still buy the replays by going to faithledhealing.com/wow, Women of the Word. So it's an amazing conference, amazing people, and that's just a testament to show you that people are seeking like-minded people and a haven where they can go, they can speak about their faith, they can love Jesus. I'm very proudly sporting my Yahweh shirt this morning. And shout out to onekingdom.org. Check them out, donate. If you are looking for ways to help in the with the Hurricane Helene, they are doing those efforts here in the United States, but they are also abroad in Africa and all over the globe, helping and getting the Word of God into everybody's hands. So that is the relief ministry for my church, and they are amazing. It's onekingdom.org. They've been doing this for 60 years. And it's amazing. A lot of our church members have feet on the ground right now in North Carolina and Florida. So if you're looking for a valid place, please don't donate to FEMA. I'm sorry, but just don't. This is the direction you want to go, is the real people that have their feet on the ground and are going and loving on these people. So all right, let me see here. Got Miss Mill in the house, Vicky's in the house, Shelly at work. Just thought I would pop in for a little bit. Well, I'm really glad that you did. It is good to see your face. We've missed you. Laura says, cloudy, rainy day, internet is unstable. Internet is unstable here too. Kind of weird, frosty morning here. Very cold. And my internet is unstable, as am I. So, I think we're all in the right place. We're all amongst the right people. So be unstable together. All right. Today's subject is questioning our beliefs. And I started off as I was muddling through because YouTube went live before I was ready. We got Miss Jane in the house. Miss Jane, it's every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Faith-Led Living, where you're joining, and then I also have Faith-Led Healing going live at the same time, and the community Zoom. Miss Jane is in Ecuador right now joining us. Hallelujah. And we've got quite a few people joining on YouTube, so I'm glad for that as well. This is my way to keep in touch with everybody. And we're questioning our beliefs today. One of the things I questioned and mentioned when I was starting out here this morning was, it's something as simple as the cheese we eat. I know people that eat Velveeta. My family ate Velveeta. I ate Velveeta as a kid. I also ate Spam. Yes, I did. Not anymore. But we do these things because our families do these things. We do these things because friends do these things. We do these things because the world does these things and we think we're supposed to do these things. But I'm calling you today to start questioning those things. And, that really kind of boils down to questioning everything. And then, I have a lot of different people joining, a lot of different people in the world. When I ask some people to question everything, all of a sudden the rug is ripped out from underneath them, and now they wonder, if they've ever done anything right in life. I don't want you to do that. Then you have the other people that are, really weighing it out. Why should I question things? It's worked all this time. And then you have the others that are like, okay, this is me. Why? I question it all. And I'm not fearful of it. I question it, some of the things, why? Oh, okay, because that's why. And that suits me. But then there's other things like the example of the Velveeta cheese that is just like, look at the ingredients. Is that cheese? How is that cheese if it sits on the shelf and it's this slimy, weird, jello-y like stuff and it can last for 20 years and it's not coated in wax like a good cheese, hearty cheese would be? Why is that? And the same with Spam. Why are they lying to us? Right. The thing is, we've got to question all these things, and we've got to question them for ourselves. What works for me isn't going to always work for you, and I will never demand that of my audience, but I want you to think about things for yourself. We do not need to be a cookie cutter society. I've been doing web design since 1997, and one of the biggest things that was on my mind was that I did not want my clients to all look the same. They were all unique. They were all different. They all had a different message, a different feel, a different vibe, whatever you want to call it. And it was my goal to make them stand out uniquely among their competitors. Now let's put that into people perspective. You were created with intention. You were created with a purpose. I can't help but, put our society today and the Hunger Games together, because in my mind there is such a deep correlation of, the just the insanity in our world, and then you look at these other movies where there's all these robots and everybody looks the same and everybody's doing the exact same thing. And, our world, if you look at it, does so much of that. We're always comparing. We're always, trying to look like somebody else when we should be looking in the mirror and finding great pride and respect and love for ourselves. Like, there's just so many things that we could question. And, we were made for a time just as this, and we were uniquely made. And instead of, worrying about what other people are doing, what they're wearing, what they're saying, who they're hanging out with, what TV shows they watch, all that crazy stuff, we need to hone in on what really works for us and step into who we are called to be and feel free to be who we are called to be. I give the example a lot that my family and I felt a deep pull to find a freedom for ourselves, to live by our terms and not by what the world dictates. And we did that going on 15 years ago. 2010, we embarked on this journey. People just didn't understand why we would want to do this, but we wanted a freedom away from everything else. We wanted to be able to raise our son in a way that he was living life very similar to how we lived when we were growing up. Being able to, get out in the woods and hike safely and not have to worry about being abducted or all this crazy stuff that's going on in our world. And, that was 15 years ago. And people were asking us, well, what are you trying to get away from? What are you trying to be prepared for? And that was 15 years ago. And it's like times just as this, that we could know ourselves well enough, have questioned our beliefs compared to that of our families, of the world, and decided what worked for us and what we wanted, not just in our lifestyle, but in the things we listen to, in the books we read, in the foods we eat, in in how we live our lives. We chose, my husband just returned from a morning hunt. We choose to hunt our own food because it is the most wholesome food available to us. And to some people that might be disturbing, but it's the way we chose to live. I was out yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. So, you know, we live uniquely. We live the way we decided to live. Um, our beliefs can change, and we don't have to beat to the same drum as everybody else. And that's really what I want to call you out on today, is that so often we are in this place of people pleasing, trying to accommodate everybody else and keep everybody else happy. And that was kind of a place I was in. Right out of high school, I had the opportunity to apprentice, and I did it for 10 years with an amazing boss who um, had an amazing mind, MIT graduate. He apprenticed me in programming. Um, you know, I worked with him rather than going to school to learn how to program. I worked with him, and I had a beautiful career there. I was salaried at an incredible rate right out of high school, and I was apprenticing. And my mother thought I was nuts. She had nothing nice to say about that, um, because I should be at home with my kids. And I didn't have children there yet. I was just becoming a mom, and I could have listened to that. I could have listened to that. If I would have listened to that, I wouldn't be here in front of the screen with you guys today, because I wouldn't have had my own web design business that I could work from anywhere when we embarked on this journey. My business is what kept us afloat financially while my husband built our home. All those years ago, back in 1990, when I took on that job, God already had a plan for me, and it had a purpose, and it played out in everything I did moving forward, because it later did afford me to be home with my children. And it was a beautiful thing, and it still affords me to do all these wonderful things because I know how to create websites. I know how to do all that techie stuff. I also know how to program and create the programs I need sometimes when I can't find what I'm looking for. But it has enabled me to do so much. But I could have listened to that voice, and I could have not accepted that job and listened to my mom. But I chose to do what I felt I was being called to do. And I know for many of you that that pull is there, that you have those opportunities also in times. And out of fear, we don't step into this. Okay, Miss Shelley, it was good to see you. Have a good day yourself. God bless. And I think that it's super important that we start to question things and that we start to own things. Like I said, we people please. We try to keep everybody else happy. I could have kept my family happy, but it wouldn't have served me any. Now knowing what I know, it wouldn't have served me anyway, and I would have missed out. And that's the thing. When we are following the beliefs of other people, following the desires of other people, we miss out on our own calling. We miss out on our own thing. Um, and, there's a lot of aspects to questioning our beliefs because, one of the other bold statements I made is, you could be questioning your political party. What makes you think the way you do? That's a bold statement right now, but these are the things we got to think about. And we're going to morph into food. We're going to morph into health. Those two things are where I'm going to get blown out of the water on YouTube. So that's going to be part of my Zoom conversation today. But question the beliefs you have. Like I also said earlier, is, beliefs are formed in regard to ethnicity and all kinds of things. And we need to really just begin to question how we live, how we think, what created that in us, you know, and be okay with the fact that if you want things different in your life, the only way to achieve that is to make small changes daily. You know, we all have that idea that there's a magic pill for everything. And I say that loosely in that in life and in health, we are looking for that magic pill. We are looking for that thing that is going to change everything at the snap of a finger. As soon as you ingest that pill, everything's going to change. You know, you decide you have this dream, and all of a sudden everything's going to change. It doesn't always work that way. It took us a year to formulate and get everything in place to be able to make our move 15 years ago. And right now we are preparing to go to Alaska. Lord willing, He opens the doors. You know, it's a preparation. It's going to take time to get us from here to there and to get everything in order and to make that happen. Yes, we would all love for it to happen tomorrow, that we can sit in that oasis or sit on the porch with the lake in front of me. But we have to look at things in a reality that things take time. And in my humble opinion, the best things in life are the things that take the most time. But that doesn't mean that it has to be a grueling event. You know, that's another thing that's kind of a myth, is that when you're in a valley, it has to be terrible. You know, I am seeing that a lot of our people that have joined, and a lot of our existing people in our community, and this is just a fact of life, and this is how it's going to be. Some are going to be up on the mountain, others are going to be in the valley, and we're going to always be moving in that rhythm. And the beautiful thing is we're not all in the valley at the same time. And even if we were, we could lock arms and keep going forward and move out of that valley together. But the beautiful thing is that there's people up top, there's people in the valley, and that's what keeps community and life and us all moving forward, is that we have the support of others that are outside of the valley helping us and pulling us to the other side. But there's so much joy to be had in the valley. Truthfully, our valleys have been really, really rough valleys. Many of you have traversed those valleys with us. Yet, we may have grown weary, but we never lost our faith and our trust. And we always had the spirit to keep going and to keep moving. And that has just grown in us as we've matured in our walk with God, as we've matured personally. And, you know, the belief was always that, oh, you know, you're in the valley, woe is me. And also that you've done something wrong. You must have done something wrong. You must have, that you're in that place, that you're having to learn a lesson. Well, I plead to differ. I was in that valley. Whether I was meant to be there for me or to help other people, I don't know. But there were great lessons to be learned, and I was really happy about the lessons that I learned. It was one of the greatest seasons of my life. It was the takeaways and what I learned and how I matured and how I grew and how I pulled into God. So don't feel like when you have to shift your beliefs and you have to make changes in your life, that it has to be this horrible place. You know, for those of you that have been following me for a long time, you also know that I enjoy adventure and I enjoy stepping out of my comfort zone. That is a really fun place for me. It's very invigorating. It brings change. It brings excitement. It can bring some unfortunate things too sometimes. You know, your parachute might not open right away when you're jumping, and the ladder may have slipped when you were trying to step on it, but stepping out of the comfort zone and doing new things, we that's a belief. We view that as scary. But let me tell you, it's not scary. That's where the greatest growth comes from. That is where the greatest things happen, because at that point, we are stepping into something that we are likely called to do. And if we didn't have the courage otherwise, we wouldn't have stepped and we would have missed out on that amazing opportunity in our lives. Laura says, amen. Valleys may be resting and preparing us for our next adventure. Amen. And Jane says, we had lost 3 family members in a short period of time. I had co-workers. Jane, I'm gonna jump on my iPad so I can see the comments. So bear with me because I wasn't fast enough. So let me get that going. Deb says, it's very frosty outside on my garden, pasture, and backyard. Yes, the trees in front of me out my window are very frosted over. I love this season. I love fall. It's just a beautiful time of year. And I encourage you guys to get outside. As you've noticed, these kind of go all over the place. But the thing is, everything I'm speaking about pertains to this. You know, our beliefs go deep. Our personal beliefs in ourselves, even that, you know, we're not worth anything. We'll never amount to anything. Why? Because someone spoke that into us at some point. It could have been a nasty elementary school teacher, or it could have been somebody you love. You know, I heard those things too. I believed those things for a long time. Internally, our bodies believe those things as well. But we don't have to believe those things. Those are exactly the things that we are in need of questioning. Questioning who we are, what we are called to do, all of those things. And being able to step out and step away from those things and be brave enough to step out of our comfort zone and demolish those beliefs. And that's why I brought up our comfort zone, because in order to step out of these beliefs that we have formed, we need to have the courage to step out of our comfort zone. It takes a lot. All of this takes practice. It's like I said, there's no magic pill. It's not going to happen overnight. But bit by bit, day by day, you start analyzing your thoughts, your views, your perspectives, where you're at in life, and where you desire to go. And you start making these things happen. And you can. You totally can. I was a type A, people pleaser, with low self-esteem. I no longer people please because there's no purpose in that. There's just not. If you're working really hard to please a person and it's impossible, it's going to remain impossible. It's just what we need to be doing. And the way I shifted that is the only person I wanted to please was Papa. My goal was to please Papa. Plain and simple. And when I started focusing solely on pleasing Papa and not all the people that weren't necessary and that couldn't be pleased, either realized that I was no longer making those efforts and they walked away, or things started to shift a little bit there. Type A, not a type A. I enjoy my slow. My healing journey taught me to enjoy the slow pace, to enjoy life, to enjoy the moment, to be present. That really mattered a lot to me, being present. So that was a belief I had, that I had to be a type A, that I had to be perfect, that I had to strive, that I had to be chasing the next best thing, or I was lazy. These were all lies. These were all lies. And low self-esteem, that was part of trauma. And that I worked at day by day to become the better version of myself day by day. And I worked on getting rid of that trauma in my life. And I attest that to Papa, surrounding myself with the right people, and breathwork. And I'm going into this, and it's probably going to, yep, duplication. We don't need duplication. Okay, so Miss Jane said, We had lost 3 family members in a short period of time. I had a coworker tell me how we were being punished for our sins. That's so, that's just, uh, that frustrates me when I hear people do that, because they like, it's just like Job. They're, Job's friends. Ugh, there's something wrong with you. You obviously did something wrong. No, that's not how this all works. And you know what? Even if we did do something wrong, that's none of their business. That's our business. And that needs to be fixed with him. And if we did, we did. You know why? We're all crackpots. We're all broken. We all have problems. We've all sinned. We've all done something wrong. It's just like when the woman at the well, and they all wanted to call Jesus out. And he said, those of you that haven't sinned, throw the first stone. And notice everybody walked away. I mean, that just, he fired me up, can you tell? That's just baloney, and that's, when you go through those hard times, that's when, you need people to pull in and love on you. You just lost 3 family members, that's when, and here's the other thing. That's oftentimes surrounding ourselves with the wrong people. And or those people having issues themselves, and and I pray for those people. I don't banish them. I don't throw words at them. That's between them and Papa also, but I do pray for them. And that's where I've really learned to ask God to bring me the right people to surround me on the journey he has for me. And God bless y'all. You all came my way, and I thank you. I thank each and every one of you. You play such an intricate role in my life, in supporting me and encouraging me, and I'm so grateful. Yes, Jane says, oh yes, we had a long talk regarding his belief of this. Yes, and you know, here's a perfect example. This falls into the same category of our questioning our beliefs. Their beliefs were based on an untruth, and that untruth was taught, whether in the church, whether in the home, and so we've got to question those beliefs. We've got to talk about those things. Um, Pleasing and reflecting Christ our King, Papa. Absolutely. Absolutely. So questioning our beliefs is very, very important. And those beliefs are across the board. I know this is going to sound funny, but the sheets we sleep on, it's really funny. Some people get really wound up on the number of thread count and the type of fabric you use, and it's just kind of funny. Like, just think about all those things. And you know what? Have fun with this. Don't let it be something that freaks you out or upsets you. Have fun with it, because there are some funny things that we believe, and they're just not truths. And here's the other thing when it comes to our beliefs. Our families have, I'm going to say this because I feel that most families, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, did the best they could with what they had. Okay? So, none of us are perfect. I mentioned the things that happened in my family because I'm very transparent, and I've had to overcome a lot of things that happen in my family. But one of the things that just was normal in my household growing up was when there was an argument or a disagreement, it was just nothing but explosive yelling. And that's all I knew. It's all I knew. And my belief was that everybody just did the explosive yelling because they didn't know how to communicate. So in my early 20s, out of high school, out of home, that's what I knew. And that I didn't know how to communicate well. I had to learn how to communicate well. So here's the thing. I could have stayed stuck in that place and still have a very dysfunctional family because we don't know how to communicate, or I could question those beliefs and question why that was and why that happened. And it was because they just didn't know how to communicate. They didn't learn how to communicate. I am a lover, not a fighter, and that was ingrained in me just because of the other circumstances I went through in my life. I didn't want to fight. I wanted to be able to, um, and that I think came with the people pleasing too, is that I wanted to be able to explain and to communicate, and that had a good and a bad side to it. Because in people pleasing, you don't need to explain yourself all the time. So that falls into the category of boundaries, and that was something else I learned, and that's a subject for another day. But I questioned it all. I questioned it all, and I learned how to communicate, and I learned how to lovingly listen. So these are the things that we can question. These are the things, because this allows us also, by questioning our beliefs, to become amazing history changers in the dynamics of our family tree. And again, it's not necessarily any fault of theirs. My great-grandparents may have been screamers. My grandparents may have been screamers. And my parents were screamers. So then, it just kind of traveled down, and they just didn't know different, or they didn't question the dynamics. I question everything. I always have. I'm a researcher by heart. And I think even more so now with my desire to help people heal, but also in just in life in general. I want to know. I want to dive deeper. So I want you to question these things. I want you to look at life and realize that even if the things you're doing are legitimately being done, if there's a reason you're questioning them, it could be because you have a pull on your heart to do something different. And that's okay, because one of the biggest beliefs we have is that we all have to follow suit. We have to go to school, graduate, go to college, get married, have children, get a job, work that job till it's time to retire, and then we can play. Who said that? I want to play now. I am playing now. Who said that? Who made that rule? And I am a little rebellious. I was just going to say, rules are made to be broken. Things are meant to be questioned, and we can make change. We don't have to be the robots or the sheep. We can change things, guys. So Vicky says, I just told my son this today. Mamas do the best they can with the knowledge they have at the time. Amen. I had no idea antibiotics over and over would affect his health so much today. Right, and who did? And who knew that a poke would cause major issues either? We followed suit. We followed because that's all we knew. But now we have the ability to question. We have the ability to change. We have the ability, and you know what? God bless him. I know how to fix what's broken. So, because I did antibiotics too for the whole first year of my daughter's life. She and I were on antibiotics for the whole year. It was terrible. But, that's how we were raised. And that's the part we're going to dive a little deeper in and question now. And I'm going to say goodbye to all of my YouTubers. I love you all, but we're going to take this to a level that YouTube won't like. And I want to keep the video up because this was valuable. If you'd like to join and go deeper, it's for the price of a cup of coffee a month to be face-to-face with me, $7. And you get all kinds of additional benefits, discounts, all kinds of stuff. I really want to make it worth your while, but I also want a place where I can share this. So my special access community is $7 a month. There's also the free community. Go to Faith-Led Healing or faithledliving.com/community. It'll get you to the same spot. You can join us. We would love to have you. Deb says, both want to run the show. Now, neither can manage their own lives. Tough place to be as a full caregivers for folks like them. I hope I'm home with Jesus before I need cared for. I hear that. And it's okay. Papa's going to give you the strength you need to do all you need to do. And I am right there with you. That's where I want to be headed rather than being cared for on this earth. But anyway, YouTubers, it was a pleasure. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless you guys. And Miss Jane, I love you. All right, see you guys.